Thank you, Lance. Good evening, everyone. This is a meeting of the Planning and Zoning Board of the Village of Tequesta. It is July 21st, 2022. It is 5:30 p.m. And Lance, if you could have a roll call, please.
Janet Strand.
Here.
Steve Egan.
Here.
Elizabeth Shower.
Here.
Leslie Dasher.
Here.
James Hackett.
Here.
Teresa Maggio.
Here.
Sherry Ambrose.
Here.
Jean Magodan.
Thank you. And I'll move to my board. If I could have an approval for tonight's agenda, please.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. Our next item is the previous meeting minutes of June 16th, 2022. And again, I'll turn to my board. Have you all had a chance to review them?
Yes.
I make a motion to approve the previous meeting minutes.
I will second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. And I'd like to address, thank you everyone for joining us this evening. We are a volunteer board, and I'd like to just remind you, we are quasi-judicial. And if anybody plans to speak, again, we ask you to sign in. And if you are going to speak, you have 3 minutes to do so, and Lance will have a timer. When your time is up, that your time is up. So if anybody has you do want to speak, you're welcome to sign in for us. Our next item agenda is SPR 2022. It's an application from 300 Beach Road Developer LLC for a site plan review to build a 10-story, 26-unit multifamily, 178,320 square foot condominium building, including 1 monument sign, 3 swimming pools, and a landscaping plan. The subject property is located at 300 Beach Road in Tequesta. And at this time, I'll turn the attention to Dylan, if you want to do ex parte.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, everyone, welcome to the July 21st meeting of the Tequesta Planning and Zoning Board. This meeting is quasi-judicial in nature. What that means is we're not in a courtroom, but it's a little bit more formal than just a casual conversation. That being said, if anyone is present this evening and plans to give testimony about anything that will be coming in front of the Planning and Zoning Board this evening, I need to swear you in. So if you do intend to speak, please stand at this time, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. You may be seated. Now, at this point in time, I would like to, it is time for ex parte communications from any members of the board. If you've had any contact with anyone for any item that will be in front of the board for decision this evening, now is the time to state that on the record. Lance, if you would please perform a roll call.
Janet Strand.
Yes, I received an email from a resident on Jupiter Island, and I have responded to that email, and it's regarding 250. It's not regarding this property.
Steve Egan.
I got that same email, but I didn't respond or anything.
James Hackett.
I spoke to you yesterday, and I did a site visit yesterday as well.
Elizabeth Shower.
I got the email. I didn't respond to the email, but I asked Lance a question on what CHAMP was that's in the FEMA firm investigation revised coastal analysis, because I read a paper, and after I read it and after reading this, I had no idea what was going on, so he explained the whole thing to me in 2 minutes. Thank you.
And Leslie Dasher.
I did receive an email and I did not respond.
Thank you, Lance. Appreciate it. One more item. I just wanted to go over the public participation at tonight's meeting. If you would wish to participate or comment on anything, you should put in a comment card with Lance. When public participation comes up, your name will be called. If you would please proceed to the podium. I want to remind everyone that any comments should be directed towards the chairwoman as opposed to any single member of the board. And this is a period of time where you should not attempt to engage in conversation, rather make comments which the board will consider. With that being said, I will now turn it back over to the chairwoman to please call the first item on tonight's agenda.
Thank you. Who's going, George, are you going to make a presentation? Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. For the record, I'm George Gentile. I'm senior partner and president of 2GHO Inc., Landscape Architects, Planners, and Environmental Consultants here in Jupiter. And we're here tonight representing the 300 Beach Road Development LLC for the Savoy project. And we have most of our consulting team here so that we can answer any questions that the commissioners may have. But we are certainly pleased to be here. The first thing I do want to say is that we're building in conformance with all the codes as a use by right on this property. It is a residential multifamily designated parcel. It has currently 27 units on it, and we're building 26. So we're down from the allowable density, which it's at maximum currently as built at 12 units per acre, down to 11.5 units per acre on the project. So what I'm going to do is go through the project with you as we have some information, and then we'll be glad to answer any questions. Thank you. And hopefully I'll do this right, Lance. There we go. So our request is to build on the 2.6 acre parcel of land at 300 Beach Road. Again, the name is Savoy, and as I said, there's 27 units. The developer proposing only 26 units. There's 3 units per floor. There's a mezzanine level and all the common area for the condominium, and then there's parking at the bottom floor of the project. The Fontainebleau development, they have, of course, they've done a tremendous number of projects throughout Florida and outside of the country. They are a premier developer in South Florida. The development team's philosophy focuses on location, innovation design, forward thinking, amenities, state-of-the-art technologies, and quality construction. And the quality construction is important because what we have in this area is construction that has been done a number of years ago. And with the recent problems that we've had in Miami and the newly developed codes that are going to be developed in Palm Beach County as well as with all the municipalities, there's going to be a lot of additional inspections and modifications that will have to be done. But when we're building a new project, which we're fortunate to have a developer that is willing to do, and residential units that are willing to sell to get out of not having to do the remediations, then we have a good project that will meet all the current codes and everything. So this is, I think, a win-win. It also will provide the village with another beautiful project. This is the location of the project. The Island House is to the north, the Regency condominiums to the immediate south, and then south of that is Ocean Towers. On the other side of the road, hopefully, I'm going to show that. There we go. Oh, there we go. Let me go back one. Is the Southwest Island House, the Seamist condos, and the Ocean Villas. It's just up and around the curve there as they come over the Cato Bridge and go north on the island portion. So that's our location. The site plan is, this is a footprint. The access will be off of the A1A corridor that's in that location. They'll have a drop-off, and then there's access, as you can see, on that slide to the parking deck below the building. This gives you an outline of the footprint of the building. And I have some statistics that I'll go over. You'll see the coastal, the dune line, and then the beach area, which their property continues out on to the beach area. And there we go. Existing land use is medium density residential. The existing zoning is R3, so we're within the density criteria of both your comp plan. The total site area is 2.26 acres. We're allowed 12 units per acre. Per that code, we're providing 11.5 based on the fact of what I told you. We're reducing the overall project in its current state to one less unit. We're meeting your code. We're 101 feet above the average crest of the dune. We're at 10 floors. The lot coverage is at 34.9%, required, provided lot coverage, I'm sorry. And the open space is at 49.1% and 30% is required. We're required 52 spaces and we're providing 57 spaces, so we're a little over on your code to provide some additional parking on the site. Just some of the highlights, as I indicated, this creates the architecture, which you'll see in a minute, is a tropical, modern nautical theme. And it grows from the ground up. The 26 units are with enclosed garages, which are also a benefit to the residents as well as the users in the village, so they won't be seeing the average daily parking of cars outside. The average unit size are from 3,900 square feet to 5,600 square feet as they get up to the penthouse suites. The valuation on this project is going to be, of course, a lot more than the current valuation, which the village will benefit in their tax base from this project as well. The design, we are meeting all of the village's code provisions, and I think that's a very important factor for you all to remember, that we are meeting all of those code provisions that are in for this use. Oh, there we go. Okay. We have our landscape architects here, and they've done a tremendous job working with your landscape architect, who's been reviewing the project with them through the process, as well as your planning staff, who's done a tremendous job of making sure that we dot our I's and cross the T's on the project. It's the intent of the design is to provide a coastal hammock environment along the beach road frontage, providing privacy for future residents in the project. The plant palette offers a lush tropical environment with emphasis on wind and salt tolerant materials, because this is, of course, a coastal area that has a lot of issues with the salt spray and the wind that we have that comes off the coast, particularly through storm events. As it was indicated, we have 3 swimming pools. There's a pool terrace features, one with a zero edge swimming lap pool, and they provide unobstructed views to the ocean. We have some aluminum shade trellises on the property that provide shading for seating in the back and in that pool area, and provisions for a summer kitchen at some point in the project. I'm going to go over, this is the architectural. These are the building views looking from, looking west from the ocean side. And that's the building itself. You can see the pool area in the front. Oops, I went too far. This is a proposed rendering inset in that area of the building as you're looking towards the east, towards the Atlantic Ocean. And this is, again, a little bit closer beach view of the project. You can see the balconies and the architectural style that's being proposed for the project. Again, we are asking for approval for the site plan, the 10 stories, the 26-unit condominium building, to replace the 27-unit structure that's there now. We meet all the code requirements in the village's R3 district. Lance, I just went out of sync there, but that's okay. I will stop there and answer any questions that you have.
Okay, at this point, I'd like to give the floor to Nilsa.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just would like to point it out that this application was received in March 2022. As you all know, once the village receives an application, the Development Review Committee reviews the subject application. The Development Review Committee includes land planners, law enforcement, landscaping, building, fire safety, the water department, civil, and traffic engineering. As pointed out on the staff report, this proposed project meets the village codes, and then there is only one condition of approval, which is in page 6, where it says that staff is recommending the following condition of approval. The applicant shall provide the village with the letter of map revision, LOMAR, issued by FEMA for the site prior to applying for a building permit. So that's the only condition of approval that we have, and just wanted to
Thank you.
clarify. Thank you.
Okay, George?
If I could just,
Like the floor?
and I appreciate Milsa reminding me, just so you know that we have already received notice from FEMA that they'll be issuing that letter, and we certainly agree with the condition of approval, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'll open the floor to my board. Leslie, do you have any questions?
Not right this minute.
Okay. Jim?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Steve?
I got a question. Are you gonna so the Sea Glass property, all the workers are on that county parcel, there's hundreds of them over there. Are you gonna do the same, where are these workers gonna park?
I don't think I can answer that question right now, but I will make sure I have an answer by the time we get to town council. But I believe that they are going to maintain an agreement with Palm Beach County to continue to use that and use shuttling for those employees to come down to this area.
On the other property, the Sea Glass, is that a limit? Like, once they get the CO on the Sea Glass, they're gonna stop parking there? I was kind of surprised that agreement, the county allowed all those workers to park on there. I was curious. I've
Yeah,
never
there's-
heard of an agreement like that.
Yes, it's been done. We did it in Jupiter for a couple of the projects there for, which now is called Karen Marcus Park, which is to the south of the main buildings there. There was an agreement for them to assist them with the drainage in that area, as well as some parking, future parking that they're going to be doing on the park site.
Okay.
So that was worked out with the county prior to us, yeah. So we will make sure we have that answer for the the village council when we get there.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yes, sir.
No further questions.
Thank you. Liz?
I have several.
Go ahead. You got the floor.
Okay. Nilsa, I have a question. You have here that they need to have a letter from FEMA. When we did Sea Glass, we never received a FEMA firm investigation on revised coastal analysis. And, I mean, I had to ask Lance before the meeting because it starts off with CHAMP, FEMA CHAMP, and I'm like, okay, I have no idea. I didn't know that, so I'm like, okay. So after 3.5 hours of searching and reading an article by this doctor, it was just totally over my head, and then he just said, it's a computer program. I mean, but why do we have this analysis on this piece of property? What's the difference between this piece of property and Sea Glass?
When the Sea Glass project came in, the applicant also applied for the LOMAR
Yes.
letter. However, when we received the application, the LOMAR letter was already part of the package.
Okay.
The reason this analysis, I specifically asked the applicant to include it, is because we still do not have the LOMAR letter. So at this moment, all what we have is the analysis, and the applicant just mentioned that FEMA is will issue the letter. So if you, just to acknowledge, we have here Mr. Jose Rodriguez. He is the building official for the village of Tecuesta. If you have any other, and he's also the floodplain manager. Mr. Rodriguez?
Thank you. Before the developer come apply for the building permit, one of the requirements would be that they provide us with a FEMA letter. that had to be approved first. Same thing happened with the sea glass. When they came in with the package, application package, the FEMA letter was approved.
Okay.
However, if they don't come with the approved letter, they can apply at the current level. The
Okay.
flood-based elevation now is 10.
All right,
So
I
they can
didn't
do
know
that if they wanted to as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I did a lot of reading on that one, that was for sure.
Should have called me.
Yeah, well, I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm even married to an engineer, and I didn't even bother to ask him.
Madam Chair, just an answer to, well, on the sea glass project, the reason we had the letter in hand when we came in, because if you recall, we changed the entire architecture on that
Well-
project, and so we were delayed on going through the final approvals on
Okay.
that project, so.
All right. George, while you're here,
Mm-hmm.
okay, fire safety, and you acknowledged that you would do the clearance height of the front of the building to 12 feet
Mm-hmm.
in order to accommodate if they get a fire truck and it's a little bit higher. Is 12 feet going to be enough?
That would be not 12, that would be 13 feet.
Okay.
It's 13.
13 feet is the code requirement, not 12.
It will be.
13.
Okay.
So when they come with the submit for a permit, that will be a review to make sure they have the clearance there.
Okay.
It's
All
required
right.
13.
So we have a sign off from the fire, from your
Yeah,
fire
no, you
department.
do, but I was
Yeah.
just asking if that would be
Yeah.
enough. Okay. Now, my other question is, why do you have 3 swimming pools? I mean, you've got 2 in the front.
Very important.
And 1 in the back. I mean, people don't talk to one another in that building?
No, it's just the amenities that people are expecting to have in their projects like that. And it's something that the developer is providing for the new residents in that project to have. There's different types of pools. There's a lap pool, if you don't like a lap pool and watching people swimming back and forth, and there's a more of a traditional wading pool, and they have another one that's also available, so. It's
Okay.
like when I go down to Hawks Cay, I go to the Tranquility Pool, but my kids with their kids go to the family pool, okay?
Oh, all right. Well,
Okay.
I don't have that problem
I
anymore. They're out of the house. Okay. My other question is, the seawall, I guess you're going to be, it's all glass now? I mean, I can't,
I'm sorry, what,
This-
the,
originally, the building has like a seawall, okay?
yes.
Now, when I saw the picture there, all I could see is the glass, and you're putting glass, I mean, are you restructuring that seawall?
There is repair work, no, there's just some repair work being done on the wall because it's had some issues, so we're making.
Okay, so then the glass goes on top of the where,
Yes,
Would you
Okay.
step up to the podium,
yeah,
please,
this is
sir?
the architect.
and I'm
from
sorry, I
Michael
have to
Wallace.
ask you to take your
Okay.
face mask
there.
off because I read
Yeah.
lips,
My
sorry.
name is Michael Wallace.
I'm sorry,
we're
Michael.
Structural architects,
Okay,
and we will probably be doing some repair work to that seawall so that we can attach a glass guardrail to it. Because of its height above the beach, it does require by code to have a guardrail.
okay, now, is it, I mean, I'm sure you're doing it architecturally so that it looks nice, and so that's
That's our
why
intent.
it's the glass and on top of the concrete?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, that, yep. Questions on seawall? I think I'm finished, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments, board? Okay, at this point, thank you, George.
Okay, no problem, thank you.
Lance, we'll open it to public comment. Lance, do you have comment cards?
So I have none online.
Okay.
I have 2 in person.
Okay.
So I have Mr. John Griffiths.
Thank
Just
you.
letting everyone know you have 3 minutes.
3 minutes, okay. That's why I sent a memo yesterday to Nilsa, is it?
Yes, please, I would like to clarify this. Mr. John Griff sent me an email and a 2-page memo that I would like to enter into the records.
Okay.
So if you can please.
Here, we'll pass it down.
So, my name is Jonathan Griffiths. I live at 375 Beach Road, which is the Lamar Building, which is almost directly across the street from the proposed project. And The letter I sent, excuse me, the email I sent yesterday outlines several questions that I have. It's going to exceed 3 minutes, so I wonder how the board can address these questions, not in 3 minutes or perhaps an extended response.
Dylan, you want to take it?
Sure. So we have received the documentation, the memo you sent in. Thank you for providing that. We did receive this yesterday afternoon towards the end of the day. Of course, city staff, I know NILSA will review it and is planning a written response to your submission. Those types of things do take time, though. It was a day before we had this live meeting.
Sure.
So no doubt the city plans to, and you will get a response back to your concerns. I don't think that this is the proper venue for a full response to your written memorandum this evening. But certainly, if you do have concerns about the project, you are free to comment on them or put them on the record tonight.
Okay, well, I guess I'd like my email with my questions to go on the record for tonight.
Yeah,
I already
Just
submitted.
entered it.
She's
Yeah.
just entered
We
it.
already sent,
Yes.
I already submitted. It's, the email was sent at 4:33 PM yesterday.
I understand the timing, I'm not disputing that, and so I appreciate you addressing each one of those questions. One's already been addressed by the applicant in the FEMA application, so that was one of the questions that I had. The primary other ones are, number one, the setbacks for the building, the side setbacks for the building, which, and again, I understand it meets all the code requirements. So, they're doing what they have to do in order to achieve and meet those planning and zoning requirements. So the question regarding the setbacks is the existing building is, I think, almost 65 feet setback on the north side, side setback from the property line. And the new proposed building, the garage structure that you saw in the pink in the graphic, which is going to be a firm structure on top of which the podium or the building will reside, is I think 20 feet, which is the minimum side setback requirement pursuant to the code. So residents on the opposite side of Beach Road, we have existing view corridors that come through that building, or between the buildings, between the 350 building and the 300 building. And our concern is the shrinking of that view corridor, which will again mitigate some of the views that we currently have and had for 50 years out to the ocean. So my question is how do the Planning and Zoning Board plan on dealing with that in terms of moving forward in the future? Again, I understand this meets the code requirements, but it's something that I request that the board look at for any future projects that are coming along on Beach Road, which we're all aware that there's some more coming, probably even from the applicant. The other major concern that we have is in terms of the drainage of the project. We understand that when the original application was made by the applicant, they asked for a drainage variance, which was similar to the variance that they requested for the sea glass and ultimately, I understand, was approved. On this project, I think the initial application requested also a same variance, which apparently they ran into some technical drainage issues with respect to how that would work technically, and they withdrew the variance and then have come up with a different drainage system that will treat the stormwater apparently as it comes off the site. Well, there's a lot more impervious area on this site now than there was previously. So the question is I would like the board to take a close look at why the regulations by Palm Beach County, the current existing regulations, were waived or weren't applied to this project. And there's a memo from...
Sir, your time has elapsed. If you could please finish your comments. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Please.
If I have other residents here that requested to speak, can I have their time?
I'm sorry. 3
Okay.
minutes per speaker.
Okay. So take a close look at the waiver that was done on the drainage for this site, because we already have standing water in our driveway as it exists right now. And I think this is only going to get worse. This is a very, very important issue. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your comments.
I have one more, please.
I'm sorry, sir.
No.
The time's elapsed.
Let me go see Lance, what his other comment card is. Oh, that's okay. I need the next comment card. Sorry about that.
Kathy McGrath.
Good evening, Kathy McGrath. I live at 275 Beach Road in the CMS condominiums. I've appreciated Nilsa has been very helpful in answering my questions. I said, give me medical records, I can understand them. But when I look at some of these site plans, and that's not so easy to understand. But I can understand a little bit about what Jonathan was speaking about in the fact of, and I can appreciate that they've said that there's only 26 sites, but this building is probably 4 times bigger than the building that was there. I understand there's only 26 condos, but they're 4,000 square foot and 6,000 square foot condos. So the massive size, lack of view. In Connecticut and some of the northeast areas, the city planning has looked going forward at view as part of the option of building codes, and I think it's something that we should look at in the future. The other thing is you're all talking about planning and building here today, and I guess I was very surprised when I pulled out today and there's 2 cranes and dumpsters and they're already working on the property. And so my question to the planning and boarding, the planning board is, can this start before they've even been approved by the city that they can start this construction? And number 3, Steve, I'm really glad you addressed the issue of parking, and if all of the people from Seaglass construction workers are going to be leaving the property before this construction starts, that already started this evening at 5 o'clock when the cranes came in, and they're actually working over there right now, if anyone would like to drive over there and see. So I really appreciate the board looking at this. I understand all the codes were met, but there's also, for the people that have to live and drive down Beach Road for the next 3 years, I hope that the safety issue will really come into play. I appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
Thank you for your comments. Do we have any more comment cards? Okay, I'm going to close public comment, and I will open back to the board. Do you have any questions, comments? And I would like to remind the board, when you make your motion tonight, whichever way you all decide to move, this is a recommendation motion. Staff comments? Okay.
Okay, I do have a question. I am going to refer to the 300 Beach Road Island House PBC meeting notes going back to January 10th, 2022. And I forgot to ask this before.
And who are you asking?
Well, I don't know who can answer this. It's all in regard to the drainage. It's on page 2. That the drainage, it's on the top of the page, the drainage study was previously prepared for the 6 properties, was reviewed. And then it just says on item number 2, it says the drain via bubble up, and then you go down to the second, and it says overflow to Beach Road RW, and then again at the bottom. I'm sorry, I did a lot of reading. Go ahead, Nilsa.
Yes, what I would like to read into the records is exactly the preliminary drainage report, revised May 11, 2022. This is the one that I would like to read into the records. It should be this paragraph on page 2.
Which one is that one? Page, what's the
This
date?
is, the date is revised May 11/2022.
Okay.
It's on page 2.
Oh, I already have that highlighted.
I know. On page 2, quotation. It should be noted that the Village of Tecuesta requires new development and redevelopment to retain 95% of the runoff from a 25-year, one-day storm event, period. A stormwater retention is proposed to be provided by installing a combination of a storm drainage exfiltration trench and gravity drainage wells for attenuation of the 25-year storm. That's the paragraph. I also want to read the part of the previous paragraph. Stormwater runoff will be reduced from the pre-development conditions. Water quality treatment facilities will be designed to treat stormwater runoff prior to discharge by way of depressed swale areas and proposed exfiltration trench. So the reason the applicant withdrew the variance application is because they decided to do this mechanism, the exfiltration trenches, that will allow this site to be in compliance with the village code.
Okay.
You good?
It's funny because I highlighted the same thing that you just read.
Yes.
But I mean, it's like hours of doing this, so it was I was tired of the drainage, so, thank you.
Okay, I will open the floor to my board. How would you like to proceed?
I make a motion to
Remember, this is a recommendation.
recommend approval of SPR 2-22.
I will second.
Madam Chair, if I may, and fellow board members, now the staff recommendation for this particular agenda item is to include a condition of approval requiring a LOMAR letter from FEMA.
Okay.
If it's at the board's pleasure, staff
Okay.
recommendation would be a motion to recommend approval subject to the condition of approval just
Okay.
stated.
Okay. I make a motion to approve SPR 2-22 pending receipt of the LOMAR application.
And I will second.
Lance, may I have a roll call, please?
Jan Strand,
Yes.
Steve Egan,
Yes.
James Hackett,
Yes.
Elizabeth Shower,
Yes.
Leslie Asher.
Yes.
5-0 recommendation on approval.
Thank you.
Thank you. I just would like a clarification that it was for meeting the condition of approval of having the LOMAR prior to the building permit. Thank you. I just want to make sure. And Commissioners, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Can I make a comment also?
What?
So I question how you can make a recommendation when you haven't even addressed the comments and questions that are in my memorandum.
Because this is a recommendation that will go to the village council, and your memorandum will be reviewed.
Okay.
And it will come to village council, and everything will become one package.
I see.
Yes.
So
it will
there's
be-
no obligation to respond to my memorandum prior to your making a formal recommendation?
Probably if you had given it to us a week prior, where staff could have answered you and forward everything to all of us that are sitting here, yes. But because it came at the 11th hour,
Yeah,
we're just not going to do it. It'll be up to the council.
I see. So there's no legal requirement to address my questions prior to a vote?
No, sir.
Sir, I would just state that we've received your memo. The staff has reviewed it and will respond to you. You've had the opportunity to place your comments on the record about your concerns. Presently, the vote has been taken. There is currently no other agenda item in front of the board at this point in time.
Right.
Further comments are inappropriate.
Okay, well, I just wanted to get a clarification on the legal requirement, so thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I'll open the floor to any board comments.
I have
In
none.
general comments?
No? Yeah.
I guess I do. I called Lance yesterday specifically when I got a chance to really go through this, and I wanted to ask the question, what exactly is the request in front of us that we're reviewing as a board? And I was told that it really was aesthetics, site plan, the layout, that we met code, that the project met code. I'm just not sure why we're speaking to drainage and FEMA and other things that aren't related to the request that's in front of us. And I think I've been trying to get this understanding when we get these applications in front of us, what are we supposed to spend our time on reviewing? Maybe this is a Nielsen question. I want to make sure I'm reviewing what I should be reviewing for what's in front of me. I didn't look at drainage. I didn't look at a lot of these things. While I thought this application was well put together, actually incredibly well put together, I didn't review 90% of it because I reviewed the site plan. I went on a site visit and reviewed the site plan. I assumed that the DRC or whatever your committee is, review committee, is looking at that stuff, that it's gotten to our board, having gone through all that review. So I didn't spend, and that's what Lance was nice enough to share with me. Am I wrong? Am I understanding this correctly?
Mr. Hackett, you are right, the Development Review Committee does the review, all the technical parts, and once an application arrives to this Planning and Zoning Board, must be in compliance with code. However, we would like to actually read a part of the code specifically referring to what is the authority of this Planning and Zoning Board.
So, first of all, I think it's an excellent question, board member. I think I won't speak for NILSA, but you're correct that by the time it gets for a site plan review in front of the P&Z, most of the technical aspects have been reviewed for compliance with the code, and by the time it gets here, it's been shook out that it has. Now, the purview of the Planning and Zoning Board is laid out in section 22-82 of the West Code. You could review it at your leisure. For site plan review, the Planning and Zoning Board reviews and recommends final action to the Village Council. In making such reviews, the P&Z Board applies the general requirements. The general requirements are minimum aesthetic standards for all site development, building structures, or alterations within the village. And the review is within the following requirements: harmony with other buildings, harmony with surroundings, facades, methods of harmonious design, advertisements on buildings, exterior lighting, inappropriate building styles, garish design, takeout and pickup windows, exterior forms. There's provisions in there relating to telephones, vending machines, advertisements, amenities, use of symbolic colors, exterior storage, just to name a few. Those are all present within the code at section 22-82, and that's during a site plan review. That's the purview of the P&Z Board, is to review those aspects for compliance with what's stated in the city code.
Right, so when I reviewed this, I was reviewing the site layout, I was reviewing the building, its aesthetics, its colors, its material, its all those things. I wasn't looking at drainage, traffic, because I had no idea what we were talking about then, because shouldn't have been in my mind. So that's why I wanted to make sure, because I've asked this question before, that we started going down a road that at the end of the road, we shouldn't have been on the road in the first place. So I appreciate.
In other words, you're correcting me for reading the entire
I'm
packet?
talking to Nielsen. I'm asking, so I have clarification. This has nothing to do with you. When I review these applications, I want to make sure I'm reviewing what I'm supposed to be reviewing. So when I come to this board, I understand that I've looked at this correctly. That's all. So thank you for clarifying.
And I can provide the board a copy of that particular code section.
Yeah, I
If you'd
got
like.
it. Yeah,
Okay.
I looked at it and all too, because I want to, again, make sure I understood, so, thank you.
Any other comments?
Nope.
Then I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
May I have a
Second it?
second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you all.